Don't scroll. I know you're tempted. I know your thumb is hovering. I know a part of you wants to keep moving because staying here, with these words, with this feeling, requires something you're not sure you have left. Openness. Not the kind of openness that comes from being naive. The kind that comes from being brave. The kind that says, I've been hurt before, but I'm still willing to feel. You still have that openness. It's just buried under layers of disappointment, under the weight of waiting, under the exhaustion of hoping and being let down. But it's there. And this message is here to it. Because what I'm about to tell you is going to explain everything. Every random thought. Every unexplainable pull. Every moment you felt something you couldn't name. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt it first. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. And that's why you've been so confused. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. Everyone talks about soulmates like they're something you find. Something you chase. Something you catch if you're lucky enough, fast enough, smart enough to recognize the signs. But that's not how it works. You don't catch your soulmate like a butterfly in a net. You don't hunt them down. You don't manifest them into existence through sheer force of will. You feel them. Long before you meet them. Long before you know their name. Long before you have any logical reason to believe they exist. You feel them. In your chest. In your dreams. In the quiet moments when you're not trying to feel anything at all. That feeling, the one you've been dismissing, explaining away, telling yourself is just loneliness or wishful thinking, that feeling is the proof. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling has been trying to get your attention for longer than you know. Don't scroll. Stay with me. This is where most people scroll away because it's easier to doubt than to believe. Don't be most people. Let me ask you something. And I want you to answer honestly. Not to me. To yourself. Have you ever felt someone before you met them? Not in a creepy, psychic, movie-style way. In a quiet, unexplainable, I don't know why but I feel like something is coming way. You're driving, and suddenly you think of someone. Not someone you know. Someone you haven't met yet. And the thought feels different. It feels like a memory of something that hasn't happened. You're lying in bed, and a feeling washes over you. Not sadness. Not loneliness. Something else. Something that feels like presence. Like someone is thinking about you. Like someone is out there. You're going about your day, and a name pops into your head. A name you've never heard before. And for a moment, it feels significant. Like it means something. Like it belongs to someone who belongs to you. That's not your imagination. That's not your brain playing tricks on you. That's you feeling your soulmate before you caught them. That's the connection working the way it was designed to work. Not through logic. Through feeling. Not through effort. Through resonance. Not through chasing. Through receiving. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling has been guiding you toward them your whole life. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. Here's what most people get wrong about soulmates. They think it's about finding the right person. About searching until you find someone who checks all the boxes. About finally catching the one who was meant for you. But that's not it. Soulmates are not found. They are recognized. And recognition doesn't happen through the mind. It happens through the body. Through the chest. Through the gut. Through the inexplicable sense that you've known someone forever even though you just met. That recognition, that feeling, comes first. Long before the meeting. Long before the conversation. Long before you have any proof that this person exists. It comes as a whisper. A pull. A sense that something is out there, something is coming, something is waiting for you to be ready. You've been feeling that whisper your whole life. Every time you felt like you were waiting for someone you hadn't met yet. Every time you felt like something was missing even when everything looked fine. Every time you looked at couples and thought, I want that, but not in a jealous way, in a knowing way. Like you knew it was coming. That wasn't wishful thinking. That was your soul remembering what it came here to find. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling has been preparing you for this moment. Don't scroll. Stay with me. This next part is going to shake you. Here's what the feeling feels like. Not the romanticized version. The real version. It doesn't feel like fireworks. It doesn't feel like the movies. It doesn't feel like everything suddenly making sense in a dramatic, orchestral moment. It feels quieter than that. It feels like coming home to a house you've never lived in. It feels like remembering something you never learned. It feels like your chest softening instead of racing. Like your shoulders dropping instead of tensing. Like your breath deepening instead of catching. It feels safe. Not exciting. Safe. That's how you know it's real. Not because it gives you butterflies. Because it gives you peace. You've been chasing butterflies for so long. Chasing the highs, the chemistry, the electric moments that make you feel alive. But soulmates don't feel like electricity. They feel like grounding. They feel like the storm ending, not starting. They feel like the calm after, not the chaos during. That's why you almost miss them. Because you've been trained to think that love is supposed to feel like a roller coaster. Up and down. Hot and cold. Here and gone. But that's not love. That's addiction. That's trauma. That's your nervous system confusing familiarity with safety. Real love, soulmate love, feels different. It feels like finally being able to breathe. And you've been holding your breath for so long that you almost didn't recognize what it felt like to let go. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling, that quiet, steady, grounding feeling, has been trying to tell you something. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. I know you've been confused. I know you've been second-guessing yourself. I know you've wondered if the connection was real or if you made it up in your head. Here's how you know it was real. Because you felt it before you had any reason to. Before they texted you back. Before they said the right thing. Before they proved themselves worthy of your attention. You felt them. In your chest. In your dreams. In the quiet moments when you weren't trying to feel anything at all. That feeling didn't come from them. It came from you. From your soul recognizing something that your mind couldn't yet see. That's the proof. Not their words. Not their actions. Not their consistency or lack thereof. Your feeling. The one that hasn't gone away, no matter how many times you've tried to talk yourself out of it. The one that's still there, even after disappointment, even after distance, even after every logical reason to let go. That feeling is real. And it's been guiding you towards something you couldn't yet see. Don't scroll. This is where everything shifts. Here's what you need to understand about the feeling. It's not about them. Not really. It's about you. The feeling, the unexplainable pull, the sense that someone is out there, the quiet knowing that you're not alone, that feeling is your soul waking up. It's your soul saying, I remember what I came here for. I remember who I came here to find. And I'm not going to stop reminding you until you find them. That's why you can't shake it. That's why it keeps coming back, no matter how many times you try to move on. That's why every time you think you're over it, something pulls you back. Not because they're manipulating you. Because your soul won't let you forget. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling is the most reliable thing you have. Not their promises. Not their potential. Not the version of them you hope they'll become. Your feeling. The one that knew before you knew. The one that recognized before you had evidence. The one that has been patient with you while you figured everything else out. That feeling is not wrong. It's time to start trusting it. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. I know you're scared to trust your feelings. I know you've been wrong before. I know you've felt things that turned out to be nothing, that led you down paths that went nowhere, that made you believe in people who didn't deserve your belief. But this feeling is different. You know it is. That's why you're still reading. That's why you didn't scroll. That's why something in your chest is tighter than it was 5 minutes ago. Because this feeling, the one about them, has never gone away. Through every disappointment. Through every silence. Through every moment they pulled away when you needed them to stay close. The feeling remained. Not because you're desperate. Not because you can't let go. Because your soul knows something your mind refuses to accept. They are yours. And you are theirs. Not in a possessive way. In a destined way. In a way that doesn't make logical sense but feels more true than anything you've ever known. That's the feeling. And it's time to stop fighting it. Don't scroll. Stay with me. We're almost through part 1. Here's what I want you to take with you. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling. The one that came before any proof, before any evidence, before any reason to believe, that feeling is your compass. Not their words. Not their actions. Not their ability to show up or their failure to do so. Your feeling. The one that has been steady through all of it. The one that hasn't changed, even when everything else has. The one that still whispers, "This is real," even when your mind screams, "Give up." Trust that feeling. Not blindly. Not naively. Not without boundaries or self-respect. But trust it. Because it came from somewhere deeper than your wounds. Somewhere older than your fears. Somewhere truer than your doubts. It came from your soul. And your soul doesn't lie. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling is still there, isn't it? Quiet. Steady. Unshakable. That's your answer. That's always been your answer. Breathe. Put your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. You're still here. You made it through part 1. And part 2 is where I tell you what to do with that feeling. How to stop fighting it. How to let it guide you instead of confuse you. How to know when the feeling is leading you towards something real or keeping you trapped in something that isn't. But for now, just sit with this. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling is the only proof you've ever needed. Don't scroll. Part 2 is here. And if you made it through part 1, if you stayed when everything in you wanted to protect yourself by walking away, then you're ready for what comes next. Because part 1 was about the feeling. The unexplainable pull. The quiet knowing that came before any proof, any evidence, any reason to believe. Part 2 is about something harder. Part 2 is about trusting that feeling. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when the person themselves gives you every reason to doubt. Even when your mind screams, "You're being foolish," and your wounds whisper, "Remember what happened last time." Trusting the feeling is not easy. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. But it's also the only thing that will lead you home. So take a breath. Stay with me. Don't scroll. Because what I'm about to tell you is going to require something from you. Something you've been avoiding for a long time. Surrender. Not to them. To the feeling. To the truth that your soul has been trying to tell you since the beginning. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And now it's time to let that feeling lead. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. Here's the problem with trusting a feeling. Feelings change. Feelings lie. Feelings can be manipulated by fear, by hope, by the desperate need to believe in something. So how do you know this feeling is different? How do you know it's not just wishful thinking dressed up as intuition? How do you know you're not fooling yourself? I'll tell you how. Because this feeling hasn't changed. Think about it. Through every disappointment. Through every silence. Through every moment they pulled away when you needed them to stay close. Through every time you told yourself you were done, you were over it, you were finally moving on. The feeling remained. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Steadily. Like a heartbeat you don't notice until you pay attention. It didn't get louder when they were nice to you. It didn't get quieter when they were distant. It just stayed. Constant. Unshakable. Present. That's how you know it's real. Feelings that come from fear get louder when you're triggered and quieter when you're distracted. Feelings that come from hope get louder when you see evidence and quieter when you're disappointed. But this feeling, the one about them, doesn't respond to evidence. It doesn't respond to their behavior. It doesn't respond to your doubts or your fears or your desperate attempts to talk yourself out of it. It just is. That's not wishful thinking. That's soul recognition. And soul recognition doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about their behavior. It doesn't care about timing or circumstances or any of the things your mind uses to make decisions. It just knows. And it's been waiting for you to catch up. Don't scroll. Stay with me. This is where most people get stuck. Here's what trusting the feeling doesn't mean. It doesn't mean ignoring red flags. It doesn't mean staying in a situation that's hurting you. It doesn't mean accepting less than you deserve. It doesn't mean waiting forever for someone who may never be ready. Trusting the feeling doesn't mean abandoning yourself. It means something different. Something harder. It means holding two truths at the same time. Truth number one, the feeling is real. The connection is real. Your soul recognized something in them that it has been waiting to find. Truth number two, they may not be ready. They may not be capable. They may not be able to meet you where you are, no matter how real the connection is. Both can be true. And trusting the feeling doesn't mean pretending the second truth doesn't exist. It means honoring the first truth while protecting yourself from the second. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. Here's what most spiritual messages won't tell you. They'll tell you to trust the feeling, to follow your heart, to believe that love conquers all. And that's beautiful. And sometimes it's true. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes the feeling is real and the person isn't ready. Sometimes your soul recognized them, but their soul is still asleep. Sometimes you're meant to meet, but not meant to stay. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That's the hard truth. And trusting the feeling doesn't mean ignoring that hard truth. It means holding space for both. The feeling is real. And they may not be able to love you the way you need. The connection is real. And it may not be time. You are meant to find each other. And you may need to let go first. Trusting the feeling doesn't mean clinging. It means releasing. It means trusting that if the feeling is real, it will survive your letting go. It will survive the distance. It will survive the silence. Real connection doesn't need you to hold on tight. It holds itself together. So stop holding on so tightly. Stop trying to control the outcome. Stop trying to force something that isn't ready to be forced. Trust the feeling enough to let it breathe. Don't scroll. This is where everything shifts. Here's what you need to do with the feeling. Not ignore it. Not obsess over it. Not use it as an excuse to stay in a situation that's hurting you. Use it as a compass. Not a map. A compass tells you direction. It doesn't tell you every step. It doesn't tell you how long the journey will take. It doesn't tell you what obstacles you'll face along the way. It just points. That's what the feeling is for. To point you in the direction of what's meant for you. Not to tell you exactly how or when or under what circumstances. So let it point. And then trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust that if the feeling is real, what's meant for you will not miss you. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to hold on so tightly that your hands cramp. You just have to stay open. Stay aware. Stay willing to receive when the time is right. And in the meantime, live your life. Not as a distraction. As a fulfillment. Become the person you were meant to become. Not for them. For you. Because here's the secret that will change everything. The more fully you become yourself, the more you stop waiting and start living, the more undeniable you become to the one who is meant to find you. Not because you're trying to be undeniable. Because you're not. You're just being you. Fully. Authentically. Unapologetically. And that version of you is magnetic. That's the version they felt before they ever met you. That's the version that called to them across time and distance. That's the version that made them feel something they couldn't explain. Not the version that waits. The version that lives. So live. Not for them. For you. And trust that the feeling will guide you both when the time is right. Listen to me. Your heart needs this right now. I know you want answers. I know you want to know when. I know you want to know if you should wait or move on or reach out or let go. I can't give you those answers. No one can. But I can tell you this. The feeling is real. You didn't imagine it. You didn't make it up. You didn't catch your soulmate, you felt them first. And that feeling has been guiding you ever since. It's not going to stop. It's not going to leave. It's not going to prove you wrong. It's going to stay. Quiet. Steady. Present. Until you're ready to receive what it's been pointing toward. So stop fighting it. Stop second-guessing it. Stop trying to talk yourself out of it. Let it be. Let it point. Let it lead. And in the meantime, live your life. Fully. Bravely. Authentically. Because the person who is meant for you is not looking for someone who's waiting. They're looking for someone who's alive. And you are alive. More alive than you know. Don't scroll. We're almost through part 2. Here's what I want you to take with you. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling, the one that has been with you through everything, is not something to fear. It's not something to obsess over. It's not something to use as an excuse to stay in a situation that's hurting you. It's a compass. Let it point. And then trust the journey. Not every step will make sense. Not every detour will feel right. Not every silence will be easy. But the feeling will still be there. Quiet. Steady. Present. Pointing you home. Breathe. Put your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. You're still here. You made it through part 2. And part 3 is where I tell you what happens when you finally stop fighting the feeling and start letting it guide you. How to know when to act and when to wait. How to tell the difference between trusting the feeling and being trapped by hope. But for now, just sit with this. You didn't catch your soulmate. You felt them first. And that feeling has never led you wrong. It's time to trust it.